let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. It is really so good to see everyone. Okay, have my camera's all over the place. Yep. Have both feet flat on the floor, about a hip's width apart. And feel the soft part of the pads of the feet on the floor, the heels and the big toe mound, the little toe mound. So just really feel the energy of your feet resting on the floor or on whatever surface. And then you might notice the backs of your legs in your chair, or perhaps you're sitting in a cross-legged position. So then you'll notice the weight of your legs on your feet, your hands in your lap. Just notice your hands in your lap. Feel the sensation and the weight of the pelvis in the chair. And then just align your shoulders with your hips. And then your ears with your shoulders. So automatically, I mean, for me, when I do that, I just get a little bit longer in my spine. And then just imagine you have this beautiful string of pearls of light that stretch from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Just imagine you're lengthening your spine, putting some space in between those vertebrae. And then you go to the crown of the head and just release any tension there. Just relax your scalp. And the forehead, the eyebrows, the eyes, the back of the eyes, the nose, your cheeks. Relax the area around your mouth, and the back of the tongue and the jaw. And relax your ears and the inner ear. Relax the back of the head. And the neck, and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades just to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly, and just release any tension in your limbs, arms, legs. And then just bring your attention to the sensations of the breath. So whether you're noticing the breath around your nostrils or around your chest cavity, remembering that when you breathe in and out, and you're noticing around the chest, this is a 360-degree movement, not just breathing in and out of the chest there. We're designed to move all the way around, 360 degrees. Some people like to focus on their belly. Choose one. And just be aware of any possible distractions. Sound, movement, maybe light of some kind, smells, and then there's those notifications, kind of annoying little notifications on the watch or the phone or the computer screen. So just allow all of it to be there. Try not to follow with the mind. And then really just take a moment to check in with yourself. Why are you here? Like what motivated you to come here tonight? And then how are you doing tonight? And however you're showing up is that's just where you're at right now. So that's fine too. And then just check in with your thoughts. Just notice where you're going with them. Maybe those thoughts arise and abide. And then try not to follow the story. We create all these stories in our mind. And then try not to judge what's in your mind, the thoughts. And then bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones, your strangers, the ones you don't like really, and remembering that all these relationships are interchangeable due to impermanence. And always good to remember that however you think about anybody at any particular time, they're still the same as you. They didn't change. The relationship may have changed. But regardless, they're just the same in that they just want to be happy. They don't want to suffer. And they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all the sentient beings. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process, is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. So think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And so the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others. We ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. So logically, it really makes sense to remove these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I am sick of suffering. And also regret the anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And this Buddha here that you're seeing is very complicated. But you can just make it simple. Just imagine he's this Buddha made of radiant, blissful white light. And he's sitting on a white lotus. He's sitting cross-legged. And he has a beautiful, radiant face. And his eyes are long. And they're peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And his mouth is very sweet. He has a sweet red mouth. And his hair is black and held up in a top knot. And his arms are crossed at his heart, and the left is underneath the right, and the left is holding a bell, and this represents wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents a union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So then we have this little section on compassion. And in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, so the very beings we've harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently, and then in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them sometime in the future. So we can make a strong aspiration to do this purification practice for the sake of all these beings and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedy. And this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we use visualization and mantra to do this practice. So imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sending powerful white nectar, and it's like coming out of a hose. It's almost like that, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown. and pours into your entire body and fills you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Anupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Anupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jina meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe. Om vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita, jina meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. The next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita, jita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Bhadrasappa Samayam Manupalaya Bhadrasappa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Bhadrasappa Samayam Manupalaya Bhadrasappa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe bhadrasappa samaya manupalaya bhadrasappa dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine the light from Vajrasattva's heart kind of hits your heart chakra, and instantly, as instantaneously as light coming when you flick on a switch in a dark room, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachment and neediness and anger and depression and resentment, jealousy, bitterness, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitam me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mebe yatsa sawa kama sitam me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe, vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitam me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitam me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitam me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitam me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva hum pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering, and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of our body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar. So the nectar flows down and pushes out all the negativity of the body. And the nectar flows up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech. And then the light comes and just completely blasts all of the delusions. And in this way, you're eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Satame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe, Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And so now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and the final step in the purification process, and it's a really crucial one. And this is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And without this, we're just going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. So this aspiration, if you like, to refrain from harming is like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So we think of something that you would like to work on between now and tomorrow, some little kind of niggly habit that you have that might be harmful to yourself or others. And just think about maybe doing it less, if even not at all. And then think Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And you think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. And next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on this idea of emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, you place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that the way things appear to me may just not be the way they actually exist. So we can dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings and think, may all the virtuous karma I have created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So here we've got chanting the names of Manjushri for the swift return of our precious Lamas at Rinpoche. And this I shall reveal to living beings according to each one's capacity, in order that afflictions may be quelled, so ignorance may be fully dispelled. With this request to the Tathagata, the master of secrets, Vajrapani, his body bowed, his palms politely joined, he then stood before the Lord devotedly. One more verse. 2, the reply. And so the Blessed One, Lord Shakyamuni, the best of men, the fully awakened one, extending from his mouth his handsome tongue, a tongue unmatched in both its breadth and length. Okay, so let's just dedicate for the long and healthy and happy life of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, sorry, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and then the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche. I think I heard yesterday His Holiness had said, just leave Rinpoche alone for 4 years. And I'm understanding that that would be so he can spend some time with his mother and his family and not grow up all, because he's got a big job ahead of him when he comes back. So I think even 4 years old is pretty young. But anyway, that was what I heard yesterday. So Rinpoche will probably be back in the next year or two. Anyway. And then for your own individual teachers to live long. All right, everyone. Thank you. Lots of love. And I'll see some of you tomorrow morning.